good morning. Oh my God, I am feeling better. Better this morning. It has been a week and a half of the crazies. By the way, this is Elise, and I'm telling you to talk about some of the things that have happened in the course of a week and a half. Oh my God, I would have to have at least a few hours. But I remember one of the last times I spoke to you, and it was about psychology takeover and what it took for me to get to No Love, New Orleans, Louisiana, to the American Counseling Association's Conference and Expo 2024. That was just over the top crazy when I got there. But imagine on my way back home. Now, I'm not going to fill in the middle while I was there, but let's talk about coming home. So I bought my train ticket back in January or December, and my ticket was for $288 with an accessible seat arrangement because I do have a disability. And normally when I travel on the train, that is the type of seating that I purchase. So everything was paid for already months in advance. Round trip ticket. So I get on the train in Louisiana, and I'm like 20 hours in, 25 hours in. And along the way, towards the ending of the 20 plus hours, a conductor comes up to me. I think I saw her maybe 3 times, just pass by. Because, at various stops, you'll get new conductors to come on and, new staff to come on and whatever. And maybe you'll still have that one that started out from Louisiana. And let me just stop here for a moment and say thank you to that crew member conductor that got on in Louisiana or was there already with Crescent 20. That was the train from New Orleans, Louisiana, who sat directly or adjacent to the seat that I had. Now, when I got on the train, she was actually outside. So I recognized her because she was actually there on my way down. So got on the train, and one of the crew members from Amtrak helped me on. And she's telling him, oh, well, seat her in 5 and 6. So he's like, well, which way? So like to the left, I want to say, no, to the, either the left or the right, there are 2 accessible seats right there so that I wouldn't have to walk. And she puts me in a seat all the way down. There's nobody in the train. So I got to walk from the point where she is all the way back into a whole different car, to the accessible seats that are there, which now I know are numbers 5 and 6. But when I first got on the train, accessible seats were right there on the other side. So I'm like, here it is. I'm walking. I got to walk all this distance. And I said to her, excuse me, there are seats right there. And she's telling the other person, 5 and 6, 5 and 6. But here's the thing. There were people I know now who were scheduled for those seats. But I have nothing to do with that. Because the conductor, the very first one, is the one who made the command for me to be taken all the way through to another car, all the way, to sit down in 5 and 6. And then I realized, oh my God, these are the same seats, or these are the same seats that I had coming down. So I was on 19, going. And then I'm on 20 coming back. Same seats. The seats had like some kind of tear, not a tear, but some kind of raised pattern in the seat. It wasn't urine or anything like that, but I don't know, something happened in the seat, but it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter at all, because the seat, as far as I knew, was okay. And when I actually got on the train, I think to sit there was a young lady who sat there who actually wasn't, I can't say that she was disabled or not, but when I got there, she just jumped up and took her charger out and left. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything at all. I believe that that was how it was. So anyway, I sat down and I realized, oh my God, this is the same seat that I had. And adjacent, two signs that say crew member, which is where this same conductor sat and played cards and ate her lunch for practically pretty much the whole ride and did whatever she did over there in the two seats. And okay, so no problem. So we knew each other from the ride down. So she sat there, there was no issue. So here we are now on our way back, 20 hours in. And this other conductor is there now. She passed through a couple of times. She never said anything. All of a sudden, she says to me, oh, I got a complaint that you made it difficult for people to sit in this seat. I need you to purchase this seat. I said, what? What do you mean purchase this seat? I'm in a seat and I have my ticket. I'm in my, well, you made it difficult. You put your bags in the chair, you using two seats, whatever. I said, no, I'm not using two seats. I have never used two seats since I've been here. And if somebody's not sitting there and I just open them up my bag, it's not a problem. Well, I'm gonna tell you one more time or else I'm gonna put you off the train. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I bought a round trip ticket. No, I'm not going anywhere. Next thing you know, next thing you know, here comes the conductor that rode down with me from the beginning. And now she's with me going back home. And I'm looking at her like, you sat there the whole time and I was right here. So if there was an issue, she could have easily said something. And I said, well, I don't understand why it is that she can't say something. I don't get that. Right? She doesn't say anything. I said, you've been sitting here the whole time. So like what? Say anything. And the girl goes, well, I'm going to give you one more chance. I'm going to give you one more chance. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going anywhere. What are you talking about? I didn't make it difficult for anybody to do anything. 20 something hours in already. Maybe 7 hours, 8 hours left to get to New York. My ticket was scanned at least 2 times, 3 times. She even asked me for my ticket. And when she came back that second time scanning, I had actually already made a complaint of harassment to Amtrak. And I gave the complaint number because that was out of order. And I'm in an accessible seat that I paid for, that is written on my ticket. So here's the thing. They walk away. All of a sudden they come back with this 6'3", 250, 300-pound conductor. And actually he seemed to be the chief honcho, quote unquote. And he comes and says to me, well, there's a complaint that you this and that. And I said, first of all, I've been in this seat and I've been here 20 hours plus 25 hours. I haven't done anything to anybody. And I said, this conductor here, she sat right across in the crew member seat almost the entire ride and saw me. So if there was a problem, she could have said something to me. And I don't understand why it is that she can't say. Well, first of all, it's not her job to say anything to us or to her. It's her job to say it to me. and she don't have to say nothing to you. I said, okay, I don't get why it is that this is going on. Well, you're going to have to leave the train. For what reason? What did I do? Well, miss, show me your ticket. I said, well, she just scanned my ticket. And the other one, which was the first conductor that came to me claiming that there was a problem, she goes, yes, I scanned her ticket. And that was that. So all of a sudden, right, he kind of walks away. Or actually, I think before they walked away, I said, where is your professionalism? So now we have 3 against 1. Yeah, it's like a gang up. 3 against 1. Where's your professionalism? Tell me, where is your professionalism? This doesn't make sense at all that 3 of you are ganging up on me. I said, and you know what you act like? A bunch of fucking thugs. Yes, that's what I said. And you know what? I already had my legs up almost the entire ride down. Yes, the entire ride to that point going back. Swollen legs, feet, everything. Not feeling well at all. But you know, we take things in stride. And I'm coming back from the American Counseling Association Conference at Expo 2024, held at the Montreal Convention Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. And so look at what happens. They walk away. They walk away. No issue. All of a sudden, they come to some stop. And 3 or 4 armed police officers, suited down, vested down, guns and everything. Miss, you have to get off the train. I said, get off the train for what? What is the reason? You're trespassing. Trespassing? I have a ticket. Trespassing how? In what moment? How am I trespassing? Well, when you said fuck and you would not show me your ticket, that's when you had to go. I said, you know what? First of all, I didn't curse you out because he claimed that I cursed him out. I didn't curse you out. I said, you act like, first of all, where's your professionalism? 3 against 1. You act like fucking thugs. And that's exactly what came across. And is this the house nigga field nigga shit? Because you know what? Seemingly it made him feel like he was something and someone of importance because he could control a situation. It's almost like, you know, speaking life or death to a situation without any heartfelt anything. Okay? With all the stuff going on in the train. And I happened to notice certain things. There was one gentleman that was on the train, that kept getting up out of his seat. Every time you turn around, he was walking back and forth. He even took the crew member seat or a seat like right, yeah, I think it was the crew member seat or right in front of the crew member seat. And he sat there. He got on his knees in the chair. He put his head like this, like he was praying. Then he sat on his back and opened his legs wide like that and had his head hanging off the seat into the aisle. He just kept flip-flopping and maneuvering in the seat like crazy. And then finally somebody said, go back to your seat. They weren't trying to put him off the train. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? And I didn't complain about him because this is my situation now, right? And then the man kept walking back and forth. He actually, at one point, went over to the luggage in the area by where the garbage pail was. And you know what? He stood there for so long. Like, first of all, why are you standing there? People's luggage is there. Their names, their name tags with all their information is on the luggage. And so why Why are you standing there? He wasn't stretching anything. Why was he standing there? But okay, so he was standing there. Where was the conductors or conductor at that time? Things happen all the time on trains, and I'm really noticing how some things slide and some things they just call out. And sometimes they call them out and they name them. And it's not actually what it is that they say that it is. So it's like they make up a scenario. So, what was the real reason behind ousting me from the train? First of all, I had on flip flops, Adidas slippers. My feet were so swollen, my legs so swollen. I had a blanket over me from my feet all the way up. I had my cane. I had a food container, which was a cooler, because I can't get up and keep walking back and forth to the cart to get food. So I had my little food with me. And in the accessible seat, there's a tray that comes up like this and leans out. So I could eat right there. And on the opposite side, there's a place for a wheelchair. So what was the problem? There was a point in time when we started to go into like this quiet mode or something. And this gentleman got on the train. I can't exactly remember, where he got on the train. But he got on the train and he actually had his phone or something. I don't know where it was. I'm not exactly sure. I think he put it on the opposite side, which that wasn't a problem. He had a long cord. He did not say, can I plug mine right here? It would have been no thing. I mean, look, we have to do is open your mouth and ask. I didn't hog up anything. I had mine in one, and there was an additional one there if he needed it. There was no issue. He sat down and slept the whole time until we got to the place where he decides that he wants to get up. So he gets up from sleep. He gets up and he goes toward the cafe car. And then I'm like, okay, well, while he gets up, let me try to get up and go to the bathroom. So my bags are on the side near my seat, right? So I push the bags up a little bit so I can have some space. And I go out and I go to the bathroom. And when I go to the bathroom or when I'm done, I come out and he is not there. He had not come back from the cafe cart yet. And I sit down. Then all of a sudden he shows up and he stands in the middle of the aisle. But his seat is empty. There's nothing in his seat. There are no bags in the way. I had pushed my stuff up, right? Just like underneath the table area, right? I kept them close to me on the side so that there would be, no distraction or, anything in the way, in his side, or on my side pretty much. And he just stood there on the phone or doing something, just talking in the middle of the aisle, just standing there talking. Okay, he has that right. And then all of a sudden, he grabbed his bags from the top and his jacket or what. No, he had a jacket on. He grabbed his bags and he went the opposite direction, away from the food car. I'm sorry. And I didn't see him anymore. But the seat was clear. There was nothing I had my feet propped up on my back because my feet were swollen. And all of a sudden, here's this conductor, like a few moments or so right after, telling me that I have to purchase this seat because I made it difficult for somebody to sit down. Anyway, look at this. These 3 police officers tell me that I have to leave. And I'm like, well, why is it that I have to leave? Well, because you're trespassing. So I have a round trip ticket and I'm trespassing or trespassing. Trespassing. So I'm looking at this now. I'm looking at the psychology behind this reason. Trespassing. Trespassing means that you're on somebody else's property illegally. Yeah, is this the house nigga field nigga shit? Is this what it is? But my ticket is paid for, sir. Is this the Rosa Parks stuff, sir? What was going on with that? have an accessible seating that I paid for. I still go to physical therapy. My spine, oh, I don't even have to go into it. So much stuff. But it actually doesn't matter because somebody thought that it was worth throwing or ousting this woman off of the train in Charlottesville, Virginia, with 7 or 8 hours to go. So I just have to like hurry up and scurry up and grab my blanket. And the officer said, "Oh, do you want us to help? Come on, we'll help you down." And I'm looking at, again, the psychology behind this. So if it is that the corporate entity is always right, then what the hell use is there for the law? But if the law says that she has a ticket paid for legally, or if there's a legal ticket paid for, scanned already, then please tell us how she's trespassing. And the police, to me, should have been able to say, no, we're not going to put her off the train. The reason that you're saying is trespassing or trespassing. I keep saying trespassing. And they should have been able to make a decision like, no. But you see how the law is set up? That regardless to whether or not you're right or wrong, you're always going to be deemed wrong because the corporate entity says so. And that is not correct. How could I trust a legal or a law giving, a law abiding authority when they represent or they don't represent the law properly? How could I trust them? I'm trespassing, but I have a paid for ticket. I didn't get into anything with these people other than I had to say, come on, 3 of them jumping on me? I mean, I was quiet the whole ride. And I only got up to go to the bathroom, stretch my legs a little bit, and sit back down. And what? And when I stretched my legs, I stayed right in the area, right in that opposite side right there, and just stretched in the window. In the window. And there was one time that I went over by the other side where the luggage was because my luggage was over there. And when I started out, my zippers were on top, purposely on top. And when I got over there, my zippers were all the way at the bottom. I had the zippers with a lock. They were on top of the suitcase so I could see them. And when I went over there, my zippers or the zippers to my luggage were zoomed all the way to the bottom of the luggage. And I said, that's strange. Strange. But at any rate, how is it that you're deemed guilty regardless? So it's almost like you don't even have a say-so about anything. And this man felt joy. So they say, what profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? So he felt really good on top of the world that he kicked or ousted a woman with a disability off of an Amtrak train with 7 or 8 hours more to go to get home. And you know what? I had to gather myself. I was really ready to like really go off in that. And I did raise my voice at the end. I really did. Because he turned it around as though I cursed him out literally. Like, you this, you that, the back. No, not at all. And there were others in the train that had seen me. In fact, I had a conversation with another woman. And she blessed me, telling me her situation about, her family member, her child. And I was like, wow. And I wanted to give her a shirt. I was like, look, I want to give you this. It says Joy Up. This is a shirt that I designed. And she said, no, I want to bless you. I said, well, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm going to give you 10. I said, no, you don't have to. I want to give it to you. She said, let me make a donation. Let me make a donation. And she gave me $10. And it was a blessing. And I took a picture of her and a little video of her. We had a great conversation. And then right after that, moving to the next town, here are these police officers. Gotta go. Had my blanket in hand, my phone, and they're grabbing my stuff from me, and I have to walk down because it's like steep. It's not, the platform is not level where you can just walk right on out. So I'm holding on to come down. My feet are just so mad swollen. And I sit down. They're like, oh, well, do you want us to help you into? I said, no, I'm going to sit right here. Right here. Because I needed to just pull myself, like, and I said on the train, you know what? Let me just gather myself together. Let me not even cry. Let me just hold it and just say thank you while I give God praise. Thank you. Yeah. And I said a couple of other things too. And they could take it any way that they want to. But in that moment, this man felt like he was on top of the world. A trespassing charge with a round trip paid ticket from January of 2024 or December 2023. Well, I think it was January. And guess what? I actually had to wait another 7 hours for the next train. I have to eat like every 3 to 4 hours when I can. So here it is, 7 hours for the next train to come around. And I think I actually got off this train maybe around 11:30, almost a quarter to 12, or 11:30, something like that. So more like 7.5 hours to go, 8 hours. They canceled out my ticket and were expecting me to pay. I said, how am I going to get home? Well, you talking, call 1-800-AMTRAC. Oh, he felt Cheerios. You call 1-800-AMTRAC. And I got to, talk to this woman who put my luggage on the cart and drove me back to the station. Very nice woman. And she said, I'm going to see what I can do. I said, how much is the ticket? She said it would cost like $100 and something. I said, I don't have it like that right now. They could care less. Not them in the station, but the 3 conductors that were so just prone to get rid of me for trespassing. Now, when people are trespassing on other people's properties, they have a right to shoot them. In some states, get off my property because it belongs to me and you don't have a right to be on it. So how do we define trespassing in this sense? Is it a matter of civil liberties? What does the American Disabilities Act say? If somebody has an accessible seat, walking with a cane, swollen feet and legs visible, everything written on the ticket, it says PWD, person with disability. What do we say? How do we define this? And again, if the law can't step up and make a decision like, well, you're saying she's trespassing, so we're supposed to bring things to a happy medium. Or is it that whatever the corporate entity says, that's just the way that it is? Then you're not really representing the law. And that's how it is all over the world. So then how are you representing the people? For the people, by the people. If we're always going to be wrong. Even when we know that we are absolutely right in advocating for ourselves and under certain conditions and situations that exist maybe beyond our control. How? How? Well, right now, you just, and then, not to say that they were terrible, but they don't want to hear nothing. You know why? Because it's already been established. Because the corporate entity is saying, or the representative of the corporate entity is saying that this is what it is. And there's no room for dialogue. So if I had to pee, if I had to take a shit, If I went into a spasm in my legs or my feet, then what? You have no idea. You know, I had my license since I was about 18 years old, and I got one ticket outside of the many tickets that my ex-husband got on my car in my name. And you want to know, the ticket was for speeding, but I challenged it in South Carolina. And I found out that there was some things going on, you know. I don't have to get all into that. But I absolutely challenged it. And at some point, years later, because I was like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. And once I found out these things were going on and I brought light to it, it still didn't change matters for a while. But I still kept going with it. And finally, I got things straightened out, or things straightened themselves out. And why do I say that? Because sometimes a fight is for the long haul. And then sometimes the fight is short, just based on what we see and what we're experiencing at the moment. But then once we come away from the place or the environment, the element that we're in, we can see some other things. And we're like, oh, wow. Okay. It hurt me so hard to my heart. Somebody said, what do you mean it hurt so hard? It hurt hard. It hit hard and it hurt hard to see that this could happen to someone who could make a judgment call. But what was the real reason for the call? That is the question. What was the underlying with all of that? What was it? We will see in the days to come, because it's not over. See, he thinks and he thought that it was over, and he got a joy out of doing that. No consideration, no nothing. Trespassing on a train that a person has to pay for a seat. So what are we saying? Is what is being said bigger than what it looks like? Or is it that he just looked at me and saw the color of my skin? Or is it that he said, oh, she's a this or she's a that? He just classified me as something? Did he want to just see how far I would go and what I would do? Did he want to just provoke me to come out and be thuggish like his conductors? You know what else it showed me? That he don't know how to handle his crew. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I got this luminosity. I am a career development specialist and a mental health counselor, mentor. Counseling early professionals or early counselors in the profession. Let me repeat that. I'm always going to be me. I don't have to go with the pomp and the stance. I don't have to do all of that. But I am a mentor to early professionals in the field. In other words, I counsel individually. I can do group, but I'm a mentor counselor to early professionals. These are therapists that just come in to the field, counselors that just come into the field, licensed practitioners that just come into the field. And on top of that, a career development specialist. So what kind of training are these conductors being given that would lend to a more amicable situation between customer and crew member? And what was shown there today, or actually a couple of days ago, was that the training lacks a whole lot. Staff development, Or maybe what it is that some of these people actually, they're there, but they're not there. They're present, but their presence in totality, in terms of taking in the information, is null and void. Some people just want a job to make money. And some people want a job that they like or that they think they will like, and they'll do better at it. See, when you just want money, you'll just do whatever, which kind of sort of was an example right there for the lame excuse. If not something else, I need you to purchase this seat. And then here we go, right? Some people want a job for money and they'll do whatever. And as soon as another job pops up and it's more money, they'll just leave. They're not really concerned all the time with how they work, what they use and what they apply and what they do. They don't care. They just need the money. They're not worried about leaving an indelible, imprint, of their greatness or what they bring to the table. Or you follow what I'm saying? They're not interested in making a mark, and showing the gifts and abilities that they have and that they are the right fit for the job. They just concerned with the money. And then some people like, I think I like this and I'll do it. And they get that conductor's hat and they put everything on and they're like, wow, yeah, I like this. I think it's cool. And then there are those who have passion about what they do. They love this kind of thing because they're a people person. So it's not about the money so much. It's about the environment. It's about the location. It's about the extension of who they are in connection with other people that they meet. So they smile and they do what they have to do to make it pleasurable for the people that they serve and amicable for the people that they serve. Or we have customers and we service them. See, it's not just about how nice you sound over the amplified or amplification system. It's about the extension of you as you meet people along the way. And it could be two different things. It could be that you're wonderful over the speaker, but then when you meet up with people in person, face to face, the whole attitude that you exhibit is totally opposite to what you sound like over the speaker. How are you dealing situational wise? Come on. How are you dealing situational wise that you could let somebody walk and back up and forth and sit in the seat, legs gap open like this, and in the window like that? How could you do all of that? And that's okay. It suffices for you. And you got other passengers. But then somebody else comes along and says, go back to your seat. So some things are acceptable and some things are not. But it would be to your liking or to your disliking based on your total agenda as it pertains to the people that you deal with individually. But if it's corporate and everybody is looked at as the same, these are our customers, these are our consumers, and we want to make sure that they have the best ride possible. And I love my job. I like my job and I want to keep my job. I have passion about this. Money is not most important, but job satisfaction and reward is. That's for the passionate people. And for those who just like it, they want to be satisfied too. And maybe they are just getting into the groove of the job and come up with some difficult situations at times and may not always know how to handle it. But that's okay. They have an upline or should have an upline that should be able to bring some light or some luminosity or a way of solution to solve it amicably across the board. But to just stand there like thugs, 3 at one time, and throw her off the train for trespassing? I'm saying now, God, I thank you that you chose me. career development specialist, the career development and counseling person, to be the one to get ousted, even in my condition. Something to think about, right? So imagine 31 hours going, 31 hours coming back home, a 7-hour layover, and then the train was stuck or stopped several times along the way. So we pulled in at 3:33, and I had to look at that time. I'll tell you more about that. That's actually my number. 3:33. What? And you know what? Another 5-hour layover. So here we are. 7 hours to wait for the train. 8 hours to travel into New York, or 9, because we stopped, right? And then another 5 hours to wait for a train in the next morning. And then another almost 2-hour ride to get to Dutchess County. And I was supposed to be home on the 15th. Sometime early, I think it was, in the 15th or whatever. I'm not sure. But I got home on the 16th. But when you think about the time that had lapsed, so almost like another 24 hours on top of 31 hours. And that was ridiculous. Ridiculous. But with all of that said, people don't even know who you are and who we are. They have no clue. None whatsoever. We could be the very ones that would have to pull them out of a very, very volatile situation. Never ever know. But God. So, the psychology behind trespassing, psychology behind ousting out, as it pertains to being labeled a trespasser. Now, if I was to hop on the train and didn't have a ticket, they would have had the right to shoot me on the spot. What were they doing? What were they doing? Trying to make this an Eleanor Bumpers thing? And here's the thing. We had already heard by the talk through the train that some people got on and didn't have tickets or snuck rides, and this person was supposed to be sitting here and this person was supposed to be sitting there. And the crazy thing is, this first conductor that I went down with, the same one that I'm going back with, the first one that I see going back, she sat me in 5 and 6. But perhaps I wasn't actually slated for 5 and 6. So was there some foul play right there? And there were seats just to the left, and I had to walk all the way through. She wanted me across from her. Let's see what they're going to say. Let's see what they're going to do. How these people, other people got on the train and sneaking rides. And this is the talk that was going on through the train. And how were these people? And who got off over here? And da-da-da-da-da and da-da. Well, we got these people supposed to be sitting over here. And, well, they was in 21 and that. Did they need a scapegoat? Was she harboring any ill feelings because I asked her a couple of questions along the way? Like maybe a cup to get some water? And maybe something else? Just a question. And there was no rude comment at all. When you get a moment, could you get me a cup so I can, please, could you get the cups? Or do you have any cups right there so I can get water? First of all, the water fountain is present, so there should have been cups there anyway. So if the bathroom is more important, which it is, but you note that there's no cups there, you see that. Well, you know what it is? Well, who gonna drink that water anyway? But they can just get up and go to the back and get a bottle of water. That's not your call. If it's an accessible seating, the water is there so that the person who is the person with a disability has the ease of getting some water when they need it. And normally I have my bottles. And you know what I'll do? I'll try to fill them up as best I can. You know, that's all I asked for was some cups. And I think I might have asked about a stop or something like that, or where we might have been. But I didn't bother her. But when we first got on, going down, you know what she did? She sat there and she started shuffling her cards. And I said to her, I made a comment about the shuffling of the cards. she she just kept doing this like on purpose. And I'm like, okay, all right. But if you play the videotape back, if there is, you would see there was no yelling or screaming. Just a comment about the importance of being there and the importance of shuffling a deck of cards. But it was so loud. And you know what? Her upline knows. Her upline knows everything. So if it is that it's okay for all that to go on, then that's fine. I'm not her upline, but I just asked. I didn't even ask. I just made a comment about what was most important and the fact that here we are. No big thing. I didn't point her out. I didn't curse her out. I didn't do none of that. Was she harboring ill feelings and wanting to get back at me just because I made a comment about the work effort on the train as opposed to the leisure time activity and how it may play a role, you know, as to how it may affect the people inside the car. She actually pulls out a deck of cards. And people go by and say, "Oh, you playing solitaire?" And that's cool. If it's her time, then fine. But you know what? Let the videotape roll. And so sometimes people can do some of the strangest things. And if there was a harboring of any kind of feeling or whatever, she could have said something. I didn't focus on her the whole trip. I already have my own issues going through. I could have turned around and said, "Would you stop playing with those cards?" No. No. I came from a career development standpoint. Career. Most important. What is most important? And that was it. So here it is. This girl, Ousted. The psychology behind trespassing. What do you grab for when you don't really have a reason? What do you grab for when you don't really have a reason? I'm going to leave you with that question. And who's going to support you? Will the law come with truth? With rationale? With something maybe to think about? With empathy with, is there anybody that you can call, or is there anybody that will be with her, or is that? No, our job is just to get her off the train because she's trespassing with a paid ticket. This is Elise signing out.